He was the most spirited child. He was caring and loving. He had lots of friends. And never would I have thought that he would ever take his life by suicide. We got up in the morning, we went into his room, and his dad found him hanging from the ceiling, and he had killed himself in the night. And never would I believed he would have done something like that. He was a beautiful, beautiful kid. He was 14 years old.
He had been struggling with alcohol and drugs for a number of years. Had been trying to reach out to get help, but either it wasn't forthcoming or it wasn't what he needed. Nothing seemed to work. I knew for the last 6 weeks before he committed suicide, we were really desperately trying to get him into any place to get some help. And I know that he was at a point where he really felt that there was no way out, absolutely no way out. He'd been threatening suicide, so it wasn't a real big surprise. And when I heard the ambulance screaming that afternoon, I knew.
His self-worth was just so, just so depleted. I was reaching out to the community for help and, was lost, and I drove by and seen his van parked on the beach, and I just knew in my heart that it was over. When the police came up the stairs and told me that he was gone, the words that came out of my mouth were, "Why didn't anybody believe me? Why didn't anybody help me? And why didn't anybody care?"
It's almost like you can't talk about it to anybody, because unless you've been through it yourself or you've lost someone, it's not the same as a regular death. Just incredible guilt. You go through your mind over and over again about the last moments you spent with the person, the conversations that you had leading up to that time, things you said, could I have said something different? It's hard to talk to other people about it, because people don't understand that. They blame the family, they blame the person. They think that that's something that you should be able to get over on your own. And, but for the family, there's, obviously, shame around that, because of how society looks at it.
For the people who are left behind, the pain that we go through as a family left behind will never ever be the same. We struggle every day. There's reminders every day of who he was. We have memories. Those memories are of a happy boy. It affects every part of who we are. That it's a life sentence.
Not only did people abandon me and my son, but they also blamed me for his death. The feelings that a family feels in a situation like this, what I can say is that, and the reasons that I could get up every day and carry on with my life is because I had a little boy to look after, and I just held on to one day I will get through this and things will get better for me, but it was very difficult, and there really was nowhere at that time in the community to reach out to. I did go to hospice and they opened their arms to me, but I was the one in the crowd that was alone because I was left with anger towards him and a lot of different emotions.
I think it's something that we need to start to talk about. That we have to not be ashamed that, whatever problems the person was dealing with before they did that. Those are the things that need to be solved so that people don't go that extra step. And until we can get the word out there, get it out there and people talking about it, and if it's addictions or whatever, then there needs to be research around it. There needs to be something done.
The message that I would like to get across is that in a time of such a tragic event, that the family is just so needing and craving love and support from people around them, to let them know that people care about them and it wasn't their fault. And it'll be okay.
It's just a loss that you just can't forget.
So if there's kids out there, or if there's teens out there, or if there's adults out there, we are left behind. There are parts of us that have died too. And suicide, it's not the way out. It's their way out. It's not our route.
I think something that kind of keeps coming back to me is how many other kids there are out there that are feeling the same way. And I think we need to know what this does to everybody. Everybody who cares about you. And it can't be an option anymore.